I want to get a divorce. All communication should go through my lawyer. After 12 years of marriage, my wife sent me a text. I just sent a text back. Got it. Then turn everything off. A few days later, her lawyer was contacting me nonstop. Hey everyone, before we start today's video, I need your help. We see that the channel is losing some popularity, and one of the best ways you can help us is by subscribing. It's fast, free, and it helps us keep making great stuff for you. Your help means everything. Let's work together to make this channel bigger. Thank you very much. Let's get the video going now. Hey, Reddit. I'm writing this from my garage workshop, where I've been working on a bespoke metal project for the past several nights instead of thinking about how one text message ruined my life. You'd think I'd get more than 15 words after being married for 12 years. Put on your seatbelt. Before I talk about the nuclear blast that happened last Tuesday, let me give you some background. I'm a 40-year-old man who is a certified welder and has his own small business. He started as a pipeline welder at 22 and worked 80 hours a week in North Dakota oil fields. Lived in worker housing that was basically fancy shipping containers for 5 winters in temperatures below -30 degrees. A lot of guys spent their money on bars and trucks. I saved every dollar I could. By the time I was 28, I had enough money to put down on a modest business space and some basic tools. I worked on starting up shop, getting to know clients, and making a website on the weekends and after work. The first year was quite hard. Took any task, no matter how tiny. Made railings, fixed broken farm tools, and made specialized parts for factories in the area. Slept for around 4 hours a night. Made barely enough money to pay the bills. In my third year, I got a contract with a commercial developer who needed custom railings for all of their buildings. The money from the contract helped them buy better tools, which led to better work, which brought in better clientele. 5 years ago, I resigned my day job and started working full-time for myself. Presently has 3 employees, a business that is 4,000 square feet, and made $110,000 last year after paying bills. Candace, my wife, is 38 years old and has a sister named Heather, who is 45 years old and has been divorced for nearly 8 years. Her ex-husband left her for a younger co-worker. Heather has effectively made herself the neighborhood's man-hater since then. She has a comfortable career as an HR director and spends most of her free time preaching anybody who will listen that males are the cause of all evil, especially me. At first, Heather was quiet. 6 years ago, Candace said that Heather thought it was strange that I handled our budget. Most couples make financial decisions together, Candace said casually over dinner. I informed her again that she had told me she hated dealing with numbers when we got married. Candace started to question the things I bought for the firm 4 years ago. Heather says that company costs should not be mixed with personal costs. I had to explain again how cash flow works in a small business. Candace nodded, but she didn't seem to believe it. We were at a family barbecue 3 years ago when Heather inquired loudly if Candace needed permission to buy a new dress. Candace brushed it off, but I saw that she started buying differently after that. Started hiding little things I bought and taking off the price tags before I noticed them. My phone rang on Tuesday afternoon when I was finishing up the blueprints for a big commercial railing project. Candace texted Ian, "I want a divorce. Please send all future messages to my lawyer, James Wilson. More contact information to come." After 12 years of marriage, they ended it with a text shorter than most food delivery confirmations. I didn't see any warning flags. We had dinner the night before, planned a barbecue for the weekend. It looked like everything was normal. Well, except for the huge fight we had on Sunday night. Candace had begun hanging out with Heather more often. Brunches on Sundays, dinners on weeknights, and texting all the time. I didn't think much of it until Sunday, when I saw that our joint savings account was missing $5,000. "Why did you send $5,000 without telling me?" I questioned her while she was looking at Instagram. She hardly looked up. "You don't have to give me approval for every financial decision. It's an account for both of us." I answered, "That's what joint means." After that, she dropped the bomb. "Ian, you are so controlling with money. Heather thinks you are abusive with money. You keep track of every dime I spend." I almost laughed. Someone has to keep care of our business finances and household budget, so I do. You haven't checked your bank statement in 3 years. So you're keeping an eye on me? She yelled and then ran to the guest room. I slept alone on Sunday night, but by Tuesday morning, she appeared fine. Then, 6 hours later, she ended our marriage over text. For a full 10 minutes, I stared at the message. There were all the feelings. Emotions were angry, hurt, and shocked, but emotions were buried behind this odd, chilly clarity. She made the rules. Only lawyers. Okay. The phone rang. Casper, my friend from high school and the proprietor of a construction company in the area. Are we still going out for drinks tonight? He wanted to know. Check the rain. I just got a text from Candace. Wants to get a divorce. Only lawyers. So be quiet. Christ. You at the store. Yeah, stay there. Coming over. 20 minutes later, Casper came. I walked right to my office. Shut the door. What went wrong? He asked. No, I showed him the text. Really cold. He said only lawyers. Huh? Have you answered yet? I just got it. Smart. Pay attention. You need to do 2 things right now. Casper bent over. First, get in touch with Sarah Martinez. Last year, she helped my relative get a divorce. The wife of Guy sought to get everything from him. Sarah shut it down right away. Second, make sure your money is safe now. If she's gonna lawyers first, she has something planned. 5 years ago, Casper had to deal with his own divorce problem. He lost half of his business to a wife who had never been to a building site. He had to learn the hard way. Then common sense took over. Because of legal channels, informal financial agreements were no longer valid. We typically kept our daily money separate. Something I learned when I was 16 and my dad lost everything in his divorce. She had her own account. I had my. Before the marriage, the business was protected by an LLC. Cards for credit. Candace had cards that let her use my accounts, but she didn't own them. Signed in to banking apps. Cards that were found. Cancelled. User who reported is no longer allowed. Finished. Transfers every month. I sent her $2,500 a month because I made nearly 4 times what she did from her part-time job managing social media. Signed in. Stopped the reoccurring transfer right away. Subscriptions. Netflix Prime and other things are under my name. Signed in to banking apps. Cards that were found. Cancelled. User who reported is no longer allowed. Finished. Transfers every month. I sent her $2,500 a month because I made nearly 4 times what she did from her part-time job managing social media. Signed in. Stopped the reoccurring transfer right away. Subscriptions. Netflix Prime and other things are under my name. Signed out of all devices. Change your passwords. She wants to stream. She gets it. Car. I pay for her SUV's insurance and lease it in my name. Didn't cancel insurance right away. Too hazardous from a legal point of view. But I have to talk to my lawyer about the lease transfer as soon as possible. Gas card linked to a credit card that has been canceled. Not worth anything today. Probably took 45 minutes in all. Not getting even. Just accepting the new world she made. She set the limit. Only lawyers. That's it. Lawyers deal with legal documents, not guesses based on a marriage that just ended. As I told Casper what I had done, he nodded in agreement. Good beginning. Call Martinez now. An hour later, she got an email with her lawyer's information. Sent it right to Sarah Martinez, the lawyer that Casper suggested. Emailed Martinez. Got an SMS asking for a divorce. Only lawyers. Followed through. Need help right away with what to do next. Protecting assets. Advice retainer. I finished the sketches for my customer. Returned home. The house was unoccupied. She must have left while I was at work. For the first time in years, I slept in my own bed. She always said I snored too much. Slept better than I thought I would. This Friday afternoon, 72 hours later. A number you don't know calls. Had a gut hunch about who it might be. Is this Ian Sullivan? A sharp, impatient voice. This is James Wilson speaking for Candace Sullivan. My client is having problems. Fine. I kept my voice even. She can't use her cards. Funds access suddenly stopped. Very strange. Mr. Sullivan. During divorce processes, the financial situation should stay the same. I said, Mr. Wilson, your client texted you on Tuesday and said, all communication must go through you. I agreed and stopped the informal cash arrangement. Future help will require official legal conversation through you and my lawyer, Sarah Martinez, whom I've hired. Stop shuffling papers. She needs money right now. Needs housing. He really did sound astonished. Where is she? I asked. Not important. You did something wrong by cutting her off without telling her. Your client ended our marriage by text message and set the lawyer's only rule. She broke the trust and communication that had been going on. There will be legitimate ways to get financial help, not by calling in a panic when your card is denied. She wasn't the main person in charge of the account. Pause for a longer time. He stated in a stern voice, my client needs emergency financial help. I said it was her choice. Send all filings to my lawyer. You have her phone number. Yes, he did clip. Okay. Conversation ended as my wife told me to. Disconnected. She wanted it to be cold and legal. That's what she's getting. I'm waiting for Martinez to call. This is only the start. Casper sent an SMS. What happened with Martinez? I called him. Gave an explanation of the situation. Wilson is in a hurry. They expected you to keep paying while they set up for the most damage, Casper said. Classic playbook. My ex tried the same thing. Stay the course. After I hung up, I sent Wilson's contact information to Martinez. She called back within an hour. Straight to the point. A former prosecutor who is now a divorce lawyer and is known for managing cases with a lot of dispute. Asked direct questions on money, business, and history. She remarked, your friend is right. When I brought up Casper's advice, it looks like this was planned out ahead of time, not an emotional choice. The text followed by immediate legal representation indicates planning. The lawyer's single request is very telling. Make space while getting ready for claims for emergency help. Things got worse as expected a week following the text. That next day, Martinez called me back. She is smart. My actions were right because of Candace's text. Suggested writing everything down. Calls, messages, and money moves. I have established a thorough spreadsheet to keep track of everything. It's oddly satisfying. Wilson made his initial move on Monday. A legal appeal for emergency temporary spousal assistance and exclusive use of our residence, which she had already left. The $7,500 a month was basically asking me to pay for her former way of life, a new place to live, and her legal bills. Martinez, an expert on entitlement levels, said that interim support of $1,800 would be based on actual requirements, not lifestyle expectations. It was noted that she left the home I still live in on her own. Pointed out that her lawyer's only rule was that I had to do as she said. After then, the attacks on people started. Kelsey, Candace's best friend, called on Wednesday night and answered, hoping for news. Wrong. Ian, what the hell? No. Hello. Hey, Kelsey. Kelsey, don't. Candace is on my couch asleep. You utterly shut her off. Yesterday, she couldn't even buy food. You're making her lose her home. Kelsey. Candace texted to ask for a divorce. Only lawyers. I did what she wanted. You know, she doesn't make much money. How is she expected to get by? She is going crazy. Her job on social media pays her $1,200 a month in cash. She had money before hiring a lawyer without talking to me. I told him that money matters should go through him and my lawyer. The exact way she selected. After 12 years, she was cruel and vengeful. Made a mistake. It is a highly specific mistake to simply send lawyers instructions. So was getting Wilson a job. Then be quiet. She needed help. You always took care of her, and if she hadn't burned our marriage to the ground by texting and hiring a lawyer, you would have talked to her like an adult. She made the rules. We are following them now. So suddenly I'm the bad guy for following clear directions. Her story is all about being a victim. Then Heather came along. I got a message on Facebook. I hope you're proud of making my sister sleep on the couch while you keep all the money. Big guy. I didn't answer, but I did take a screenshot. Put in the legal file. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Heather, let it go to voicemail again. You think you're so smart to cut her off like this? You are a tiny little man, and this is how you repay Candace for the happiest years of her life. You know she'll take everything to court. She says she dislikes males, but she sure wants her sister to keep getting help from one. The next day, Casper arrived to the store with lunch. Have you heard from Wilson? Only the emergency filing. I gave him the papers. $7,500 per month. He almost choked on his lunch. That's more than most people make, Jesus Christ. I responded, making fun of Wilson's country club tone. Candace is used to a certain way of life. Yes, one that your 80-hour work weeks and broken knees from those pipeline days paid for. I worked with Casper for a season in North Dakota. Knew just how that life was. Do you remember the Christmas when you worked all day because the employer paid you 3 times as much? Candace was angry that you missed her family dinner, but she loved the spa weekend you paid for in January. Yes, that winter stands out in my mind. Welding parts of a pipeline at -40 degrees while standing in slush. My fingers were so frigid that they wouldn't flex right for days. Candace spent the weekend at a 5-star resort. My right knee is hurt for good. This is why I advised you to get in touch with Martinez. Casper said she knows what it's like for guys like us to develop something. Wilson presumably has never experienced a callus in his life. A day previously, I got a bank alert. Tried to take money out of an old savings account we had opened years ago for a vacation fund and entirely forgot about. There was around $3,200 there. It looks like Candace found the debit card and tried to use it all up. The bank noticed the unexpected activity on the inactive account. Went straight to the branch, told them about the divorce that was about to happen, and froze the account until a legal arrangement was reached. It's not about the money. It's the principle. As her lawyer yells at me that I'm acting in bad faith. She's using backdoor methods. Martinez believes this is good for us. Shows that Candace isn't just waiting around. She's actively trying to get around the process she asked for. Tom, her brother, also sends her texts. We used to be tight. I taught him the basics of welding and helped him secure his first job with a union. Now it's, man, why you got to be so cold? She's family. I said family. She makes the rules. No response yet. Another relationship has ended. Waiting for the date of the emergency support hearing. Candace is still staying over at Kelsey's. Wilson must be recognizing that his customer wanted a blank check. Not real. Feeling less shocked. More gloomy resolve. This is going to be hard. It became more dirty. I realize it's shocking. Last week, there was an emergency support hearing. Candace came in looking anxious. Wouldn't look me in the eye. Wilson said she was poor and the victim of cruel financial cutbacks. Martinez calmly showed the text that started the lawyer's only communication and the bank statements that showed I canceled the extra cards and turned off the allowance linked to my accounts after the text proof that I was still paying my mortgage, utilities, lease payments, and insurance, which were all major fixed costs. This was evidence of her attempt to drain the forgotten joint account after demanding that lawyers handle everything. Her income statements showed that she wasn't poor, just missing discretionary funds. Brian, my shop foreman, who has known us both for years, came as a character witness and said that I had always been open about money and never controlling, and that Candace had free spending, frequent girls' trips, and salon visits. Brian has been with me since the beginning. I remember when the shop was just me, a TIG welder, and a broken-down truck. Saw me build everything with nothing but hard work. After the business started making money, new Candace came along. He talked about the night before a big installation when I was sick with food illness but kept working regardless, throwing up between welds because missing the deadline would have hurt our reputation. When I arrived home at 3 a.m., Candace said I was being too theatrical. The judge didn't believe Wilson's show. Asked Candace directly why there was no talk before the text. She mumbled something about being scared. I almost laughed. In our relationship, I'm the silent one. The judge also seemed doubtful. Candace once said that I was in charge of every part of her life and that she needed to get away. Martinez easily pulled up Instagram posts from 2 months ago. Candace's weekend spa getaway with her buddies that I paid for. Freedom weekend. Thanks, hubby. Yeah, I'm just the worst prison warden ever. Look at these credit card statements. Martinez told the judge. $220 for the hair salon. Clothes cost $430. Mr. Sullivan paid for everything, even going out to eat with friends for $380 in 1 month. He drove a 10-year-old pickup and worked 60 hours a week. I saw Candace flinch when the statistics were read. She always said that those costs were usual for a woman my age. It's strange how they sounded different in court. The result was that temporary support was imposed at $2,200 a month. A lot closer to our number than theirs. Enough for the necessities and some of her legal bills, but not enough to pay for her old life. The judge particularly talked about what Candace did. The text, the account drain attempt, played a role in her current condition. They got away with it, but they weren't done. Heather was waiting for me at my truck after court, with her arms crossed and fashionable sunglasses disguising what I guess were daggers for eyes. As I passed by, she snarled, "This isn't over. She should have left you years ago." I laughed and kept walking. "I was just thinking the same thing about you." My phone rang as I drove away. Heather had put my name on a Facebook post. Some males think it's okay to abuse money. Some judges let it happen. The system isn't working. With a sobbing emoji. Sent the screenshot to Martinez with threats to witnesses. "Keep collecting these. Building the pattern," she said. Then, during work hours, Tom came to my shop without warning. He responded, "We need to talk," and walked by my receptionist Jeff, who gave me the, "Should I call the cops?" Look, I said, waving him off. "I'm working here, Tom. Do it quickly. You're ruining her life," he said, glancing around at my employees, pretending not to listen. All she wanted was some space to figure things out. "Didn't expect you'd go nuclear." Space. I laughed. "She hired a divorce attorney before texting me. That's not space. That's an ambush. You could still support her while you work through this." He pushed. "We are working through it legally as she demanded. Support is court-ordered now. It's not enough. It's what the judge decided was fair based on actual needs, not wants. You might want to ask why your sisters planned this, expecting me to keep funding everything." "Sisters?" He looked confused. "Heather's been coaching this for years. Ask Candace." He left looking troubled. One potential ally neutralized. Casper stopped by that evening with drinks and pizza. Heard about the hearing. Martinez kicked ass. She did. Candace looked shocked when the judge only gave her $2,200. "They always are," Casper said, opening drinks. "My ex demanded $12,000 a month. Judge gave her $3,200 and told her to get a job. She cried for days, according to our daughter. What pisses me off is that I would have been reasonable if she'd just talked to me," I said. "Instead, she went for the ambush." "That's Heather's influence," Casper replied. "She's been telling Candace you're the enemy for years. Saw it at your anniversary party last year. The way Heather watched you like she was cataloging evidence." He was right. Heather had been there every step, nudging Candace away from me. Small comments about my work hours. Questions about our finances that created doubt. Suggestions that other husbands gave their wives more freedom. A slow poison that Candace eagerly drank. Next week, the real game started. Dirty trick number 1. Call to my business line. Anonymous complaint to the Welding Certification Board alleging unsafe practices and code violations. Thankfully, my shop passes regular inspections with flying colors. Quick visit from inspector. Walkthrough. Clean bill. Clear attempt to mess with my livelihood. Low blow. Martinez noted it. Tough to prove anonymous source, but adds to pattern. Dirty trick number 2. Candace's parents called. Tears. Accusations. "How could you? She's struggling. Judge unfair. Give her more money. Think of the years she gave you." Same response. Candace chose this path. Lawyers handle financials as she requested. Can't discuss. Called heartless. Hung up. Relentless emotional manipulation. They really thought I'd just keep paying forever. My response? Sticking to logic under pressure. Their tactics just clarified the situation. Simply reacting wasn't enough. Needed to proactively secure my position legally and shut down avenues for manipulation strictly by the book. The SUV. Martinez sent Wilson a letter. Temporary support established. Candace needs to handle the vehicle. Take over lease if qualified or return it. I stop payments next cycle. Insurance coverage, which I'd maintained, would cease concurrently. 30 days. Her problem to solve within the legal framework she created. The house filed for formal exclusive use since she left and judge didn't grant it to her. Started valuation process for sale. D's buyout. Buyout unlikely given her finances. Establishing clear legal control. Asset division. Pushing for immediate full financial discovery. Suspect hidden assets. Time for transparency. Legally mandated. Hiding things means trouble with the court. Documenting harassment. Logged every manipulative call. The business complaint. Dates times. Summary. Martinez says pattern of bad faith tactics influences final settlement. Legal fees. It's not about revenge. It's about methodically managing the situation within the legal boundaries she established, especially now that they're resorting to underhanded tactics. The business complaint crossed a line, making decisive legal counter moves essential. Candace texted me directly the day before, breaking her own rule. Ian, you can't take the SUV. How will I get anywhere? Paul, stop this. Screenshot sent to Martinez. Replied, Candace, per your instructions. Date, all communication via lawyers. Contact Wilson. Silence. Month 4 of this disaster. The SUV situation exploded like I predicted. Quick background. It's a 2021 Ford Explorer leased in my name. About $580 a month plus insurance. Candace always drove it. I have my own F-150 for work that's paid off. The lease has another 18 months. After court-ordered temporary support was established, Martinez gave Wilson the 30-day notice about the SUV. Options were clear. 1. Candace qualifies for lease takeover and transfers everything to her name. 2. She returns the vehicle to me or the dealership. 3. She finds alternative transportation. Wilson responded arguing transportation necessity and demanded I continue payments indefinitely as additional support outside the court order. Martinez shut that down fast. Candace ignored the deadline completely. Kept driving the SUV. Probably figured I wouldn't actually stop paying. Wrong. When the next payment date hit, I did exactly what I said. No payment. 2 weeks later, got the angry call from the leasing company, explained the situation, told them I'm not responsible for the vehicle's current location as I don't have physical access to it. Gave them Candace's info and explained she's an unauthorized driver refusing to return the vehicle. They weren't happy. 3 days after that, Kelsey called screaming that repo men took the SUV from her driveway while Candace was at yoga. Apparently, Candace had been hiding it at Kelsey's place, thinking they wouldn't find it there. That's what happens when you ignore legal letters and court orders, I said before hanging up. An hour later, my work email got hit with a message from Heather. My sister is stranded with no transportation because of your vindictive games. Hope you feel better now, jerk. Casper stopped by that afternoon. Caught me reading Heather's email. More from the hell lister. Yep, the SUV got repossessed. She's losing it. He laughed. Remember when I warned you about her at your wedding? You said I was paranoid. He had at the reception. He'd pulled me aside after seeing Heather corner Candace 3 separate times. That sister's going to be trouble. He'd said way she looks at you like she's already planning the divorce. I dismissed it as drunk talk. Wilson filed another emergency motion claiming I'd stolen the vehicle. Judge shut it down immediately after Martinez showed the notification letters and court transcripts. Judge actually looked annoyed with them for wasting court time. After court, Heather was waiting again, this time with Candace, who looked away when she saw me. Heather marched right up. You think you're so clever with your lawyer and your paperwork? She snarled loud enough for others to hear. Men like you always find ways to twist the system. I looked her dead in the eyes. Unlike you, Heather, the system doesn't care about gender, just facts. She turned red. You son of an, is there a problem here? Martinez appeared at my side. Phone recording subtly in her hand. Heather stormed off, dragging Candace with her. Martinez smiled. Another exhibit for our harassment file. Candace is now Ubering everywhere, apparently, and her parents are driving her sometimes. She's telling everyone I took her transportation in a cruel move. What she doesn't mention, she refused to handle the situation properly for over a month, despite multiple notices. I feel bad for the leasing company dealing with this mess. They're charging me penalties for the repossession, but Martinez says we can include those in our final settlement demands as damages directly resulting from Candace's actions. It's exhausting having to document every damn thing, but it's paying off. Every interaction just digs her hole deeper. 5 months in, the financial discovery phase has been revelry. When we started the process, Candace submitted financial disclosures claiming she had her personal checking account with roughly $900. Some clothes, personal items, and that's it. Poor victimized Candace with nothing to her name. Martinez pushed for comprehensive discovery, bank statements going back 3 years, tax records, investment accounts, everything. Wilson fought it, claiming harassment and unnecessary burden. Judge ordered full disclosure. What turned up was interesting. A separate savings account at a credit union with $22,400. Account opened 3 years ago. Regular deposits. Cryptocurrency holdings worth about $9,800. Purchased during our marriage. Regular cash deposits to her checking account that didn't match her reported income. About $500 to $800 extra most months. Emails between Candace and Heather spanning back 2 years showing systematic undermining of our marriage. Some highlights. 2 years ago. Heather, he makes you ask for money like a child. That's financial abuse. Candace, it's just our budget system. I agreed to it, Heather. Classic victim mentality. He's conditioned you. 18 months ago, Heather, Greg at my office got divorced and his wife got everything, including his retirement. You should talk to his lawyer. Candace, we're not getting divorced. Heather, just saying know your options. Men hide money. 8 months ago. Heather, does he even know about that Nordstrom shopping trip? See, you're already hiding things because he's made you afraid. Candace, I'm not afraid. Just avoiding an argument. Heather, that's fear. Normal marriages don't operate like that. 5 months ago. Heather, you need your own safety net. Start putting cash aside where he can't track it. Candace, that feels dishonest. Heather, it's not dishonest. It's self-protection. All men are financial predators. The most damning email dated just 2 weeks before the text. Heather Wilson says, do it exactly like we discussed. Only text. No in-person meetings. Only lawyers should talk to you. He'll give in a few days and you'll keep living your life while you negotiate. Men always fold when confronted legally. Guess where that $500 to $800 extra per month was coming from? Heather's safety net contributions. The text didn't just show Heather suggesting divorce. They showed she'd orchestrated the entire ambush strategy. Wilson claimed the savings was separate property from gifts from her parents. The crypto was independent investment she'd researched herself. The cash deposits were small social media jobs done off the books, all conveniently undocumented. Martinez methodically dismantled this. The savings account had been funded partly through transfers from our joint account before we stopped using it. Documented. The crypto was purchased using our Amazon credit card rewards points. Documented. The small jobs were never reported on taxes, raising other issues. Meanwhile, I've been in our house alone maintaining it, documenting everything. Got it appraised, worth about $95,000 more than purchase price. Martinez filed for it to be considered a marital asset for 50-50 split despite Candace trying to claim she contributed more through decorating. Laughable. Since I did all renovations, including building the custom kitchen island she loved showing off on Instagram. Casper came over to help me change out the water heater that weekend. How's the case looking? He asked as we carried the old unit out. Better every day, I said. Heather's emails are a gold mine. Judge is going to love them. Told you she was toxic. Casper had always been wary of Heather. Woman's got more venom than a rattlesnake farm. Candace is claiming she contributed more to the house because she picked the paint colors. I said, setting down the heater. Casper snorted. Yeah, and I invented Tesla because I drive one. She was shopping while you were installing cabinets with a separated shoulder. He remembered that weekend I'd fallen off a ladder at work, but still finished the kitchen installation because we couldn't afford contractors. The anonymous certification board complaint came back to bite them, too. My security cameras caught Heather's car driving past my shop the morning of the complaint. Direct connection. Martinez added it to our documentation of harassment. That triggered another social media blast from Heather. When a man can't win fairly, he fabricates evidence. Stay strong, sister. Right? I fabricated your Ford Edge driving by my shop 3 times. Magic powers. Throughout all this, Candace has been playing victim to anyone who listen. Mutual friends have been calling asking if I'm really leaving her homeless and broke. I just referred them to the court records, which are public. Few call back after actually reading them. One night after a grueling day of depositions, I found a note taped to my workshop door. We all know what you did. Heather's handwriting, according to birthday cards stored in my filing cabinet. Security cameras caught her. Another piece for the file. I've lost some friends who took her side without question. Good riddance. The ones who've stuck around have been surprisingly supportive, especially the guys who've been through similar divorces. My brother's been solid, too. Lets me vent. Doesn't judge. Reminds me to hit the gym and keep focused. We're approaching mediation. Martinez thinks we're in a strong position. The hidden assets, documented harassment, the lawyer's only demand, followed by direct contact, Heather's orchestration. It all paints a picture the judge has clearly noticed. Candace's victim narrative is collapsing under the weight of documentation. Update. All right, Reddit. I'm back with the final update. 7 months since the text. I want a divorce, and it's finally over. The divorce is finalized. The last 2 months were legal trench warfare. Wilson delayed. Candace played the victim. Rejected reasonable offers. We were headed for a contested trial. Judge signaled clear impatience with Candace's tactics in pretrial conferences. Facing a worse outcome, plus potentially paying my legal fees, Candace finally agreed to settle. But I wasn't settling for the standard package anymore. Too much had happened. Martinez and I crafted something special for this situation. Final settlement. I kept the house by buying Candace's half at 15% below market value, justified by her hidden assets and harassment. My business remained 100% mine with her contribution claims completely dismissed. All hidden assets were declared marital property with a 6,535 split favoring me as penalty for concealment. Her SUV lease was terminated with $4,800 in fees and penalties assigned solely to her. She got 0 spousal support due to her hidden income, deliberate planning, and bad faith tactics. She's responsible for 40% of my legal fees on top of her own. And most satisfyingly, a 3-year restraining order against Heather prevents her from contacting me or coming near my business and residence. Martinez's masterstroke using the documented harassment pattern. The day after the judge approved everything, Candace showed up at my workshop. Jeff called me to the front. She looked terrible. Dark circles, weight loss, designer clothes replaced by Target basics. Can we talk, please? Her voice cracked. The settlement is destroying me. I can't afford my apartment. My credit is ruined. Should have thought about consequences before the ambush divorce. Heather convinced me that I'd fold and fund your new single life. Yeah, we saw the emails. I'll lose my apartment, she sobbed. Not my problem anymore. We were married for 12 years and you ended it with less consideration than canceling a magazine subscription. She touched my arm. I still love you. I laughed. No, you love what I provided. I nodded toward the door. You need to leave. Where am I supposed to go? I hear Heather has a spare room. This isn't you. You're not this cold. I adapted to the rules you set. Turns out I'm pretty good at them. As she turned to leave, I added, by the way, those emails where Heather called me financially abusive while helping you hide money. All part of the court record, public document. Your friends can read them anytime. The look of horror on her face was worth every penny of legal fees. We're slowly getting the friendship back on track. He's the only one from her family worth saving. When the last paperwork came through, Casper brought drinks to celebrate. We sat in my garage workshop, the The same location I'd been the night I got the text. Remember when you were just starting out? Working on the pipeline during the day and setting up the shop at night? He inquired. I agreed. Those first few years were hard. 80 hours a week split between working at a job and establishing the business. Candace was often comparing our way of life to the marriages of her acquaintances. It doesn't matter that those guys were 10 years older and had jobs. Casper pointed around the business and remarked, You made something real. Something real. She never understood how hard that was. He was correct. Me? 7 months of pain. Costly. A lot of stress. But I'm fine. Actually better. The business is growing. I bought a Harley last month. Something that Candace always said no to since it was too hazardous and like a midlife crisis. Take it out every week. Feels really amazing. No big retaliation, only slow, grinding repercussions of her choices that meet logical legal resistance. I couldn't have planned finer justice than the fact that she's broke and living with her disappointed parents while watching me do well. She wanted it to be official and legitimate. She got it, along with all the harsh truths that come with it. Measure twice, cut once. As my store sign says, she measured erroneously, and the cut was permanent.